Welcome back to Meet the Ministers. My guest on the program this evening is Tracy Davis. Then a move into small business. I believe you actually worked with your parents for a while there. I mean, the move for your parents from naval life into small business, what do you remember about that?
I remember that Dad, having come out of the Navy, we moved from Sydney to Kalanga on the north side. And
back to God's country.
Back to God's country. And he knew he wanted to work for himself. He didn't know how that was going to look, but knew that that's what he wanted to do. And he actually walked into a store that happened to be a franchise group, purchasing some stuff, and he decided that that's what he wanted to do, and it was in home improvements. And he went and had a conversation with the management, and I remember it happened very, very fast that he was the proud owner of a Mad Barry's franchise on Mad Barry's, you remember, at Redcliffe. And it was a really very much a family business. It was Mum and Dad running it, and my brother Michael and I, on the weekends, working for what I would now consider to be, particularly low wage for what we did, but that's what happens in family business. The curse of working in the family business, isn't it? Absolutely, and they worked really, really hard, and we worked really hard as a family to build that up. So that happened when I think when I was about 16.
And an inspiration for you to move into that?
Well, my life changed. I joined the army. I left the army. I worked in an office where I met my husband, and we got married, and we came back to Brisbane. Short précis of how that occurred, and we arrived back in Brisbane. But you always want to help the family out, and he said, "Will you come and work in a store?" And in between children, that's exactly what I did. And within the suite of things that he sold, or the products that he sold, were kitchens. And I became very interested in the design of kitchens and the selling of kitchens. That became what I primarily did in his store. Towards the end, I ran 4 of his outlets. That's how many he had. And spoke to my husband and said, look, I'd really like to pursue my own business. And I met up with 2 gentlemen that knew how to make kitchen cabinetry. I could design it, and we started a little business. We only intended it to go for about 5 years and then maybe move on. That was in 1998, and we're still going. So it's just there, and it's a small business. We employ about 12 staff locally, and it's a very basic kitchen line. We don't do big fancy ones, but that's the market. It's where we've wanted to stay, and it's been quite successful. But it's been really great on a whole range of levels. One is that I was able to express my own interest in kitchens through a business. I could participate as much or as little as I wanted to as I was raising my children. And so it's been quite wonderful. And I have one of my partners, one has since left, but the other partner takes reign of it when I'm not there, and it's allowed me the flexibility to pursue other interests, including politics. Well,
that was going to be my next question. I mean, how do you do that juggle of running a small business and being actively involved in politics?
Having a really good partner helps. Who supports your endeavours, and that's how we've managed to do it.
You have a timeline for your career in politics? Is that open-ended for you, or you think you give yourself 5, 10, 20 years? Or?
I think I just review it as we go. Each term. I'm a shadow minister. That was not part of my expectation either, and I love the space that I'm in. There's some exciting things happening. There's the NDIS within the disability sector, and we've got 8,000 kids that'll be in care tonight, sleeping away from their families. They're areas that I think I can make a difference, and whilst I believe I can make a difference, beyond the Aspley electorate, then I want to stay on. But politics, it's not your choice. I'm a member in a marginal seat. And so it will be up to the people of Aspley to determine whether, how long I will continue as the member. And all I can say is that I'll just do my best until such time as it's appropriate for me to move to the next phase of my life, or the electorate determines that for me.
I had a fascinating discussion this morning actually, about Australians and our support of the underdog, and how often sporting teams and politicians in particular, certainly at this stage, like to assume the underdog status because it seems to be looked upon more favourably in Australian society in general. Yeah. How are you sitting at the moment, a couple of months out from the election? We're not really sure when it's going to be, but it's going to be soon.
Well, we know it's going to be before June next year.
Yeah.
Shaun, I just work my patch. You know, I do what I can for the local electorate. They'll make the determination on polling day because they get it right. You know, the electorate gets it right.
The electorate gets what it wants, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So, you know, I can do what I do locally, and then I have the Shadow Ministry work that I do, which has impact locally, but, you know, of course it's more global. So all I can do is offer the very best that I can do for the local area, and they will make that determination. There's no doubt that when swings are on, it might not matter how hard you've worked locally, and you'll have seen example after example where good, solid local members, you know, their time has come to an end because there's a mood swing for a change. And, you know, there's much talk about that at the moment, but it'll be on polling day whether we find out what the electorate really, really want for the state.
Is it a good life? Good for your husband and your kids? Is it good for you being so actively in politics? I know you enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I just think it's fantastic. I'm really lucky. My children are young adults. You know, they 19 to 26. Yep. So I've done this, you know, this is happening while I don't have to be worried about how my young children are, you know, missing their mum. And I really admire women and men who can do this while they've got young children. I don't know that I could have done that. My husband spends a lot of his time not in Brisbane. His work takes him away, so I'm not encumbered by, you know, by children at home demanding of my time, nor a husband at home at the moment demanding of my time. Though he's home a bit more, has been in the recent past, and that's been fantastic. But he's my biggest supporter. I could never have achieved what I've achieved without his, you know, his support and belief that I had something to offer the community. Because I think when you put your hand up, sometimes you don't think you have what it takes. You might have in mind what you think a politician should be or deliver. And he encouraged me to pursue this because he believed that I, you know, I was just an ordinary person living, you know, an ordinary life in my community, did some, you know, was active in the community, but just wants to make a difference. And yeah, he's just a wonderful man.
Tracy Davis, thank you for your time. Good luck in the election.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Meet the Ministers. My name is Shaun Bindley, and I look forward to joining you again next week.